morning, class, and today we've got a great story we're going to be sharing with you. It is a fable. Now, a fable may be a new term for some of us in this class, and a fable is simply this. It's a short story, usually with animal characters, that tell us a moral. Now, does anyone know what a moral is? No? Well, a moral, that is a lesson that we are going to learn that's really about what's right and what's wrong. So a moral is going to tell us things that are right and things that are wrong. There's going to be a lesson to learn from this fable. So before we begin our story, and the story is called The Tortoise and the Hare, one of my all-time favorites, we're going to, first, we're going to take a little break, and we're going to just kind of discuss and have you mark down things that you agree with and disagree with before we begin the reading, all right? So we're going to call this an anticipation guide because we want to anticipate, be excited about what we are going to learn in our story today. So everyone has their copy. So let's begin with question number 1. All right, and as we take this, I want to remind you, it's okay if you don't know the answer, because some of this we haven't talked about yet, all right? So until we learn it, until we talk about it, you may not know it, and that's okay. So let's start with number 1. Slow and steady wins the race. All right, do you agree with that, or do you disagree with that? If you agree with it, it means you think it's true. If you disagree, then you don't believe that is true. All right? Slow and steady wins the race. That's statement number 1. Statement number 2. A hare is a type of rabbit. A hare is a type of rabbit. Do you agree or disagree with that? Let's move on to number 3. A tortoise is a type of fish. Do you agree or disagree? A tortoise is a type of fish. Number 4, I would think you would all know this one. Teasing people makes people feel good. Teasing people makes people feel good. Do you agree or disagree? Number 5, good friends can help you be a winner. Good friends can help you be a winner. Agree or disagree? All right, and number 6, you might get this from what we've already talked about this morning. When we read a fable, we learn nothing. When we read a fable, we learn nothing. Agree or disagree? All right, those are the questions on our anticipation guide. All right, now I want you to take your anticipation guide with your answers, and I want you to lay that face down over on the corner of your desk, and then I want you all to come up into our reading circle because we are getting ready to begin our book today called The Tortoise and the Hare. Now this is an old fable, an old Aesop fable, but it's been adapted by Janet Stevens, and Janet Stevens has actually drawn the pictures of what we have here. So let's start with this, The Tortoise and the Hare. What do we have a picture of right here? Looks like a rabbit, doesn't it? Looks like a rabbit. Guess what that is? That's a hare. A hare is like a rabbit. It comes from the same family. They just have little longer ears, but they're kind of from the exact same family. So let's get started with our text. All right, and guess what this is? You guys know it already. This is a tortoise. It looks kind of like a turtle, doesn't it? It's not a fish. It looks like a turtle. And I really like this picture that Janet Stevens has made, because look right here at the tortoise's feet as he eats breakfast. He's got on slippers that look like a mouse. So those are awesome. I've got some slippers that look something like that. Do you? You're kind of like the tortoise there. All right, let's begin our story. And these are the best stories when they begin with these words. Once upon a time. Once upon a time, there was a tortoise and a hare. Tortoise was friendly and quiet. He did everything slowly. Hare was flashy and rude. He did everything quickly. Hare liked to tease Tortoise about being so slow. When Tortoise ate breakfast, Hare said, "By the time you finish your last bite, it'll be dinner time." When Tortoise worked in his garden, Hare said, "By the time you pick those spring flowers, it'll be winter." One afternoon, Hare followed Tortoise to the store. Hare teased him on the way. "By the time you get there, the store will be closed," he said. "You are so slow. I could beat you at a race hopping backwards on one paw." That's a challenge, isn't it? And see, look at the animals we have up here in our top corner. We've got a frog and a rooster and a raccoon. Those are some of the friends that Tortoise has. We're going to learn more about them in just a little bit. Tortoise said, "But I could never beat you, Hare." "Yes, you could," said Tortoise's friends. "All you need is a little help." "Then you will race me, Tortoise?" asked Hare. Tortoise pulled his head into his shell. You've ever seen a turtle do that? When they get a little frightened, sometimes they'll pull their head into the shell. Tortoise said, "I don't want to." His friends said, "You've got to. You've put up with that nasty Hare long enough. We think you can win." Now, what do you think it means when the friends said, "You've put up with that nasty Hare"? What do you think that means? Yeah, nasty is how we describe someone when they're mean and they tease you. That's how we describe those types of people. Tortoise didn't want to disappoint his friends. They wanted him to race. So Tortoise finally agreed to race against Hare. Tortoise only had 2.5 weeks to get in shape before the big race. Rooster helped him out at the gym. So he's lifting weights there with the help of Rooster. Raccoon cooked him healthy meals. Frog went jogging with him every morning, and by the day of the race, Tortoise was ready. Now, how can you tell Tortoise is ready to participate in this race? Look at him. His slippers are gone. He's gone on shoes and socks. He's got a towel around his neck. He's ready to run, isn't he? Animals from all over the county come to watch the Tortoise and the Hare. Rooster read aloud the rules and described the course. "Attention, everyone. The race will begin when I sound this gong." What's a gong? Kind of like a cymbal. You strike it, and it makes a big noise. "The 6-mile course is marked by red flags. The first one to reach the finish line wins. Runners, take your mark. Get set, go!" And Raccoon sounded the gong. Now we've got a pig involved with all this, and it looks like from the back we might have a cat, we might have some kind of a bull there too, a baby pig. All sorts of animals have come over to watch Tortoise and Hare race. Hare bolted out of sight before Tortoise had taken his first step. The crowd roared and cheered as Tortoise inched forward. Hare was so far ahead that he decided to stop at Bear's house for something cool to drink. Now, I like this picture because, look, you can see that Hare is getting ready to stop at Bear's house. And look how far ahead he is of poor old Tortoise, just coming up over the hill there. He is way out front. Hare rested and sipped lemonade. Bear noticed something moving outside the window. "Hare, there goes Tortoise." "What?" yelled Hare, running out the door. Hare passed Tortoise for the second time. Then he decided to stop at Mouse's house for a snack. And you see Mouse's house there, and all the way back, way as far as you can see behind Hare, you can see Tortoise still just moving really, really slow. As Hare munched on crackers and cheese, Mouse yelled, "Is that Tortoise I see out the window?" "I'm not worried about that slowpoke," said Hare. "I've passed him twice already." Then he finished his snack and hopped out the door. He passed Tortoise for a third time. Now he was far ahead. He saw a pond and decided to stop and rest. The snacks had made him sleepy. Look at the red flags. Rooster talked about the course would be marked with red flags, and we can see them all the way up to the finish line. And Hare is way out in front of Tortoise again. We see Tortoise way off in the background, still just plugging along at his same speed. Hare was so sure that he would win, he took a nap in the soft grass. As he closed his eyes, he dreamed of victory. Just taking a nap in the middle of a race. Suddenly, Hare woke up because the crowd was cheering. "Yay, Tortoise!" the crowd roared. Tortoise was 2 steps away from the finish line. Slow down, you bow-legged reptile, screamed Hare as he tried to catch up. That's not good things to say to somebody. It was too late. Tortoise crossed the line just before the tornado of dust and fur that was Hare flew by. Tortoise had won the race. Hare couldn't believe it. That measly shell on legs had beaten him. Tortoise smiled as his friends carried him on their shoulders. He had learned an important lesson. Hard work and perseverance. Let's try that part again. Let's see if Mr. Gazaway can get his words together. Tortoise smiled as his friends carried him on their shoulders. He had learned an important lesson. Hard work and perseverance bring reward. The end. All right. A great story, isn't that? All right. So tell me, what is a hare? Let's talk about that for just a second. What is a hare? You're right. It's a type of rabbit. How about a tortoise? It's not a fish. We learned that. It is a type of a turtle. That's correct. So we have a fable. We know that from the fable we can learn a moral, and a moral is something about right and wrong. So tell me a little bit about what you think you learned from the story. All right. Now what I want you to do is this. We have a little worksheet here, the tortoise and the hare. And we can, sometimes we can learn lessons from people who do things wrong. That's right. Sometimes people who make mistakes we can learn from so we don't make those same mistakes ourselves. So even though we all know the tortoise was a good guy, right? The tortoise, he was a good guy. He did things slow. He had friends. He worked hard. There was a lot of things that the tortoise did. The hare, you never hear about any of his friends in the story, do you? You know that he stopped and he had a snack and he took a nap and he ate some cheese and he had some crackers, had a cool drink at the bear's house. We know some of these types of people, don't we? All right, so what I want you to do is everyone has one of these organizers. So I want you to start here under tortoise. And it says the tortoise is. The tortoise is. That's a pretty wide open question, isn't it? The tortoise is. The tortoise is what? The tortoise is what? Give me some ideas. The tortoise is slow. That's exactly right. The tortoise is nice. That's another great thing. So we've got a couple of things we can put down there. The tortoise is slow. The tortoise is nice. Is it all right to be slow? Absolutely it is. So we know those things about the tortoise. I want you to fill out some more about the tortoise, and then I want you to come over here for the hare too. We know the hare is what? The hare is fast. The hare is a bully. Really teasing the tortoise as much as he did. And then we're going to drop down here. The tortoise has. The tortoise has what? Tortoise has friends. How important is that? You've got friends. The tortoise has friends. The hare has no friends. The hare has a poor work ethic, meaning how hard do you work to obtain those goals that you want? All right, so I want you, after you get the tortoise is and the hare is filled out, drop down to the tortoise has and the hare has. And then finally down at the bottom, the tortoise teaches. Did you learn anything from the tortoise? All right, I want you to go ahead and fill out here what you learned from the tortoise. And then I want you to come over here and tell me what you learned from the hare. The hare teaches as well. So I want you to fill that out. Take your time. I'm going to be walking around, and as I do, simply raise your hand if you have a question, or you want to talk about the story, or you want to talk about something you've learned. I would be more than happy to talk to you about that, okay? So I want you to go ahead, get to work on your organizer there. Make them nice and neat. Use proper spelling. Make your letters correct. And use new vocabulary words if you can. All right? So get that filled out. Boys and girls, thank you so much for getting that filled out. You guys did such an awesome job with that. We're going to take a look at that. We're going to discuss what you've learned. All right? So we've learned a whole bunch of things about that. What I want you to do now is I had you turn these face down on the corner of your desk. Pull them back up, our anticipation guide. And I want you to go through these 6 statements again. So we're going to go through these together. And I want you to mark down now if you agree or you disagree. All right, so you agree or disagree. And it's okay to change your answer now. If you put down an answer over here that you think you don't agree with anymore, that you don't think was right, you can change it over here. That's all right. That's why we read the story, and that's why we've taken the lessons that we have today. So our first one is slow and steady wins the race. What do you think that means? Slow and steady. Give me an example. That's right, the tortoise. He kept the same pace the whole entire race. It was slow, but he kept the same pace the whole time. A nice, steady pace. Slow and steady did indeed win the race over the hare. Number 2, a hare is a type of rabbit. Now, you guys know this one. All right, number 3, a tortoise is a type of fish. You guys know that one too. I knew you would. All right, teasing people makes you feel good. Do you think Tortoise felt good when Hare was teasing him? Let's ask another question here. Do you think Tortoise felt good when his friends were helping him? You bet he did. You bet he did. Do you agree or disagree with the statement that teasing people makes people feel good? Good friends can help you be a winner. Good friends can help you be a winner. Agree or disagree? And then finally, when we read a fable, we learn nothing. Well, we learned something today, didn't we? We learned a lot of things today, didn't we? Go ahead and get that completed. Go back and check your answers again. Just make sure that what you put down you really feel. Make sure your name's up at the top so we can pick those up. And we'll just take a quick look at them. And boys and girls, as we read our stories, you do such an awesome job of paying attention and doing exactly what I want you to do. Thank you so much for that. And I hope that you have a great rest of the day today.